Echo's Box podcast is not meant to be or claiming to be a good place for therapeutic advice. The host is not a licensed therapist and is not offering any services or advice related to mental health in a professional manner. The content discussed on Echo's Box is commonly highly explicit due to the real nature of expressing honest emotions. While we don't mean to offend anyone, the reality is these discussions might be triggering to many people. Out of respect for all, please do not listen if this content isn't right for you, and forgive us if you have a poor experience. Keep your brain healthy. Hey everyone, welcome back to Echo's Box. This is episode 26, and I guess it's going to be called Ramblin' because I didn't have a topic for today. You're going to have to excuse any background noise you hear. I have to have a fan on in my room right now. I've been recording a new EP actually for my stuff under Jones, and I've been sweating it out in my office all day, so I need the fan on while I'm recording this podcast. In fact, I almost didn't get this episode out on time, and I still may not. It is 11:22 p.m. on August 31st. I am really cutting it close on these monthly episodes here lately, but I guess that kind of ties in to the first thing I'm going to ramble about, and that is kind of related to that last episode when I talked about burnout and all the things about burnout. And I guess this is kind of a progress update on how I've been doing the last couple weeks. And overall, pretty good. Things have come up here and there where I am exerting myself more than I would like. But on the flip side of that, I actually have the bandwidth to exert myself even though I don't really want to. Whereas normally I would be doubly exerting myself. So in a way, the trade-offs kind of worked out. And I guess a couple examples of things like that would be like random emergencies that happen. For example, my partner's kitten, He broke his poor little leg, poor guy, and he's been recovering. And somehow that little asshole slipped out of his cast. And so the day we were going to have our date day, instead of having a relaxed date day, we were rushing him to the ER to get his cast explant. So that really put extra exertion and stress on both of us. But in my case in particular, that stress was already on top of the fact that I was, making these plans. I'd already set aside dedicated time to come over and spend time with my partner. So it's like, oh, okay, now we have extra stuff on top of what we already planned. And that's a kind of a minor example, but it's stressful nonetheless. That whole situation was stressful in and of itself. I got through that. And then I also realized I have a lot of travel coming up, man. I've got travel. I've got shows booked. I even have a top secret announcement that I can't talk about just yet. But with all that, like I've got next week, I'm going up to visit some family up in northern Alabama. And then after that, I am doing some more traveling related to the top secret stuff. And then after that, well, actually, I think before that, I'm doing traveling for work, going up to a team event. And it's all of these things are fun travel, by the way. All these things are things I'm excited to do. All of them are optional, and I've chosen to do them. Even the work thing's optional. But I'm going up to work, and I'm going to hang out with all my coworkers, and it's going to be a good time. And then I'm going to go on that super secret mission that I can't talk about yet. I'm excited. I can't wait to be able to talk about it. Hopefully I'll get another podcast episode out early next month whenever I can make that announcement. But I've got time, so you guys will hear about it here regardless before it actually happens. So you'll have plenty of notice. On that note, like so much travel coming up, and my AC, like I alluded to, the reason you're hearing any kind of fan noise in the background is busted right now, man. I noticed after I had like a little birthday party, which thank you to everybody who came out, by the way, that was a fucking blast. I died while I was laughing and dancing. If you've never been bent over a toilet puking and laughing while you puke, I was in such joy while in such pain. I remember at one point, I've been listening to the new album by the band Camino, and all I wanted to do was listen to it while I threw up. And I did just that. I was like, give me my phone. And I think my buddy, I don't know who it was. It might have been my friend's wife, Lindsay, or it might have been somebody else. I can't remember. I died. But I I had somebody get my phone, and I just turned on the music, and I was just shaking my ass while I was bent over a toilet. It was hysterical for me. I'm sure it worried everybody else just a little bit, but they did that to me. We made a rule where every game lost at the party. I don't know who made this rule and why I okayed it. It's my house, my rules, but birthday boy, I guess, was the intention to have a good time, and that I did. But the rule was any game that was lost, no matter who lost, I had to take a shot with the losing group. So it didn't matter if it was beer pong or I have a cool little flip type dice game. It didn't matter. I was screwed no matter what. So awesome birthday bash. But anyway, sidetrack there. I noticed after my birthday party that my temperature was kind of rising and not going down. And I decided one night to check my actual outside AC unit, and it was not on. So I did a couple of different troubleshooting things. One of my friends kind of walked me through some things that they knew to do to kind of kickstart it. But before I did any of that stuff, I actually just went and checked my breaker, and sure enough, the AC was tripped. And I tried to turn it back on, and it said no. And then I tried to turn everything related to the AC off, and then turned it back on, and it started to turn back on, and then sounded like a grenade was going off on the side of my house. So I turned it all off and went outside to a plume of white smoke, and walked back inside and waited for it to clear before I went to actually inspect and see if my AC unit was still intact. Thankfully, it is. The problem is the compressor exploded. It arced, and there was a hole in the side of it, and then it leaked all the Freon. So thankfully, I've got a warranty. It's getting covered. But also, because it's warranty, I'm going through warranty circus. It was supposed to be fixed this week. It is now Thursday of whatever this week is in August. And I already had to survive a giant heat wave. Thankfully, the beginning of this week has been a lot cooler. And I'm fortunate one of my friends' families is letting me borrow a portable AC unit they have. So my dogs are nice and cool. So don't worry about Echo and Luna. They're fine. It's just other rooms in my house are not so savory. So I have to get the circulation going with these fans. So anyway, I'm living in misery in my house right now. It's extremely uncomfortable, and that means it's hard for me to do things that would be like at a normal routine that may be easy, like in just saying them out loud, like, oh, I need to do my laundry. Well, my brain immediately goes, as anxiety does to someone, especially dealing with the initial kind of repercussions of your AC going out and worrying about all that. On top of that, it's like, oh, okay, well, I gotta do laundry, so I don't want to run the dryer because it's gonna make the house hotter, so therefore I don't do laundry for like a week, and now I'm running out of clothes, and it's a cycle, and I'm breaking it now this week. I'm just like, screw it, like I need to get my album done. I need to get these things for work done. I have a presentation I'm giving in October. If you're in the Columbus, Georgia area, by the way, that's a good shout out, and you're interested in information security things, it's coming close to an end to buy a ticket. So if you're interested in the Threat Level Midnight Conference hosted by our local ISSA chapter, go to the Columbus, Georgia ISSA website. There is the Threat Level Midnight website. You'll see all the speakers, all the events, all the times, and more importantly, where you can buy your ticket. So make sure you buy a ticket. I'm going to be giving a presentation called The State of the Shell, and it's going to be all about basically ethics of malware, and also showcasing how the state of malware is evolving and will continue to evolve, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. I have some very interesting opinions on how that all works in terms of ethics. It's not what you might think it is. I am very much, how do I say this without going to jail, pro the development of software to do what you tell it to do. There you go. That's an insight into the conclusion of my talk. And it's going to be a fun ride. I'm going to do all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're interested in security stuff and especially hacking, come check that out. And come say hi to me in person. I'm going to be running a CTF game there as well. So anyway, yeah, I know it's months out, but I need to prepare for that because I have all this travel going on, and I'm stressed the fuck out, man. Like, I'm just absolutely stressed out. I'm thinking about all these things that I have to do at once and just trying to knock them out in bulk. And so I've had a couple sleepless nights this week. I got my presentation done well ahead of time. I got some feedback from friends on it, and I got my album done tonight. That's why I'm delayed on making this podcast episode. It's not done. I have recorded all my demos and set up the projects and structured everything, so my buddy Seth can now take it over, get it to a good point, and then we can have a session together to finalize everything, and then it will be done. But album art's good, songs are done, everything is as it should be. We learned a lot the last time we made my first EP, so I'm taking what I learned to make this process more efficient, where we should hopefully just need one session together, and we'll get it done. I'm super stoked though. This new music is at least 10 times better than the last album. So if you liked at least one song on the last album, you're going to at least like 2 on this one. And that's saying something, because there's only going to be 3 songs. I'm slow rolling out music, trying to get to a point where I can kind of release singles, so I don't have to do big projects like this all at once, because while 3 songs may not sound like a lot, and I may have knocked them out in a short time frame this time, it's a lot of creative energy, and it's energy and space that I'll have now that I've kind of stepped back from things, but I don't want to use it for that all the time. I want to use that for that when it's time to use it for that. And otherwise it'd be cool to just I got a song idea, make it and be done with it and release it, but with that, like, I have to think about things like, do I want to get together with my buddy Ricky and try to squeeze out like a stupid simple music video? I don't anticipate being able to afford or do anything complicated, so maybe like a 3-shot type thing and go from there. I don't know. So this is where my brain's running, and that's why today is a ramble. Like, I've got all this shit going on. So it's a really good thing I did step back when I did, because now I have the room for all those things, and that's kind of how it's going. And fortunately, as I knock things out, they are done. So like prepping for things like travel and stuff, obviously those are future things, and I'm just going to be stressed about those until they happen. But at least when they happen, they're going to be fun and exciting, and I'll hopefully be able to enjoy the distraction of being out of town and doing fun things, and that'll be great. But up until those points, I got to think about like, oh, I got to pack, and oh shit, I got to leave at this time, and flights or whatever else. Just the agony that comes with that beforehand. I tend to do really well come showtime. Like, I think I'm the kind of person, I'm learning this about myself here lately, I'm the kind of person who likes a plan, but it's okay if the plan goes awry as long as I start executing it. So it's like, okay, I could have a plan, and I'm going to, let's make up a plan. Say I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to drive to Orlando, and I'll get there in, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours, however long it takes to get to Orlando from where I'm at. And I'm going to stay in an Airbnb, and I'm going to go play mini golf on the first day I'm there. And that is the plan, and I'm going to stay there for 3 days, go to the beach or Disney World or wherever the fuck you want to do in Orlando. And I have a plan, right? Let's pretend I have more details in there about what I'm going to do each day I'm there. The point is, like, come showtime, if it's time to leave and I'm driving down the road and 2 hours in my car breaks down, I handle all that pretty well. Like, I'm not saying it's not stressful and it doesn't stress me out, but I wasn't thinking about that as a factor, like something happening to my car or a storm delaying or a wreck happening that delayed me. I wasn't worried about any of those things going into it. I structured a plan. I knew what I was going to do, and I executed. And I'm pretty good at adapting to a plan, which I think is very important, especially for my job. Sometimes things go awry when you're doing sketchy offensive security related stuff, and you got to adapt. And that's a skill set I fortunately very much have. But up until that, I guess same way for work too. Like, I got to have a plan or else I'm stressing out, and I'll be stressing out up until the day of. Unless there are cases where it's like, I have a good plan. I don't anticipate anything going wrong. The plan is good. We're done. Like, I'm not really thinking about it beyond that, but I don't know. Maybe it's mostly to deal with things with travel, because you don't want to be late. Like, getting on a flight, you don't want to be late. Checking into somewhere, you don't want to be late. Some of those things have protocols and procedures where if you are going to be late, there's opportunity to call ahead and you can get things taken care of. But flights in particular can be very stressful. And even though I thoroughly enjoy flying, I don't mind the airport at all. I like going and having some drinks before I hop on the airplane, and just watching. My favorite thing is to watch what's that movie that John Wick. I love drinking bourbon and watching John Wick on the airplane and get to my destination. That is an enjoyable experience for me. So I actually enjoy whatever it is I'm doing, but all this planning up into it's got me stressed out. And yeah, like I said, this is a ramble. I don't know how long I'm going to ramble on, but I'm going to keep rambling, and you can keep listening until you're sick of me. But I think the point I'm really trying to illustrate is that I've got so many things going on that I can dive down a rabbit hole for each different thing and what's going on with it, why it's stressing me out, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what's great about it, how it makes me feel, anything like that. I could dive down on each one of these things, and it's a bit overwhelming. And it's funny because, like, at least I would feel at least 50% better if my air conditioning unit was fixed. That sounds dumb, right? Yeah. So I was in therapy talking about this the other day. I was talking about all the things I'm going through, and my therapist was like, wait, your AC still isn't fixed? And I was like, yeah. And it's actually not dumb that this is stressing me out so much. You pointed out a couple things to me that were helpful in understanding why this is impacting my stress level so heavily. And it's not necessarily like all the items where maybe I'm running out of bandwidth. That's not the case. I have the time for these things. I don't have the energy. So with the AC going out, that makes it uncomfortable to sleep in my bedroom. And with insomnia, I already have a hard time sleeping anyway. If my whole house is an uncomfortable environment, I'm restless. So like I'll even try to sleep on my couch. I got a new couch, by the way. Got a sweet fucking deal. The couch I was gonna spend money on was gonna be really fancy, and I didn't do that, and I found one that was just as good and saved about $2,000. So go me. That's gonna help my wallet a lot. My wallet's very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that for myself. Good move. But anyway, couch isn't exactly the most comfy couch in the world. It's great for sitting, great for hanging out, but sleeping, not great. But it's much colder in my living room right now with the portable AC than it is anywhere else. And it's extremely uncomfortable. So on top of executing all these things and not sleeping at night or going to bed very late, my sleep is very uncomfortable. You know, it's some nights I'll have just weird dreams, which is a nice diversion from the nightmares when I sleep. I'll either have no dreams or nightmares usually. Now it's lately I don't sleep, or I have weird dreams, or I have nightmares. So the weird dreams are a nice little bump in the road there. So it's not just consistently nightmares, but it's just terrible. My sleep, the quality of sleep I'm getting is absolutely fucking just disgustingly awful. And that is why I'm so stressed. Not entirely why, but that is like why if my air conditioning is fixed, my stress level will go down at least half, like for sure, because I will feel more comfortable to do my routines in the evening. I will feel more comfortable going to bed. My dogs will enjoy going back to bed and snuggling up next to me rather than trying to squeeze on the couch. Echo is hilarious. He will let me know it's bedtime. He knows that I'm probably not going into the bedroom unless it's a cool enough night to sleep in there. And then even if I hop on the couch, I have to lay on like the chase of the couch, and he lays on the other longer end, and he snuggles and he puts his head right on me. He's like, I have to snuggle Dad at night. If I don't get my dad snuggles, then I am upset. He is such a good boy. It's very cute, but everything is uncomfortable. It doesn't matter how cute Echo is with his routine. It's uncomfortable for all of us. And so I just need to get my fucking AC fixed. Thankfully, like I said, it's covered by warranty, but it's just taking time. It's time that I'm not enjoying having to be patient about and wait out, although it is certainly worth it financially, because I did not have the money to spend on fixing an AC compressor right now. So I will wait, and that is how it will go. But yeah, it's amazing how something can stress you out that has nothing to do with the other things that are going on in your life that actually should be causing stress. Like all the activities, all of the projects, all the things that I have going on that I have to do should be the things that are stressing me out the most. But my air conditioner going out is accounting for at least half of my stress, if not more, not the actual things that are going on. If that was not a problem, I would be managing all these other things going on because I would have headroom. I wouldn't be stressed out 100%. I would only be stressed out half, 50%, maybe, if that. I don't know. I just know it wouldn't be 100% stress like I am now. I feel the weight of 100% stress. I'm having to make sure I take my medicine consistently. Thank God I've got my medicine on routine now. I guess that's an interesting update for you all. I'm not on any, a long time ago I talked about being off of all of my medications, stopped everything kind of outright because nothing was helping. The only thing that was helping me at all was XANAX, and that wasn't exactly what we were trying to treat. We weren't trying to treat anxiety. We were trying to treat depression. And I don't know if I've talked about this in a previous episode, but there is an update on it. So let's recap. I also have a general anxiety disorder diagnosis that is separate from my depression. They obviously hold hands with each other very tightly and like to try to ruin my life and my days and my mental health, but they are distinct issues that we can pinpoint. All the stresses and anxiety isn't making me depressed. My depression is just making me depressed. They're not helping. Obviously, they are working in tandem where I could fall into a pit of more depression if I'm not careful, but if I can manage the stress and anxiety, it won't cause me to be more depressed. I will just have my normal level of I hate myself and I want to die, not I hate myself and I want to die and I'm freaking out, So when it comes to my medication, we decided that between my psychiatrist sucked. Sorry. If that guy listens to my podcast at all, you're a nice fella. It didn't work out. The way you were treating my health was throwing medicine at me and not actually talking about my issues. There's some critique, some feedback for you for your professional practice if you are listening. I don't think he does, though. I don't think he ever took interest in my podcast. He did take interest in my career, though. That was the only thing we talked about, not my mental health. So make sure your psychiatrist is talking to you about your mental health. They're not your therapist, but they are supposed to dedicate time to talk about your problems so that way they can adequately diagnose and prescribe your medicine. They can't just throw medicine at you. Your primary care physician can do that better than a psych can. If it's dumb. They can prescribe higher dosages of medicine, but your primary care can prescribe basically the same medicine. Anyway, that was a good side tangent. All that to say that my primary care physician is very invested in my mental health and very open to the recommendations of my therapist. So they work together so my primary care can prescribe the medicine that my therapist recommends, even though my therapist can't prescribe medicine. So works out great. And we've landed on just keeping me on XANAX. I manage it very well, and I'm not having any issues whatsoever with it. And in fact, it helps. It helps a crap ton. It's amazing how great of a tool in my tool belt that is. And now that I know they are working with me to ensure that I have access to this medication, I'm not scared of using it. It was funny. I walked into the doctor's office after a whole episode that I had with my partner where she was just kind of like, hey, you're running out of medication. Why don't you call them and they'll refill it for you? And I was like, that's such a good idea. I can't do that. My brain didn't want me to take my medication because it was helpful. That was the depression being like, you're not allowed to get any relief. It made everything about it scary. But sure enough, I just called up and they're like, oh yeah, I got you. My dumb ass didn't realize they already hooked me up and had me 2 refills without having to come in. I didn't read the fucking label. Felt like an idiot after that, but I did get my medicine, and then I had to follow up, scheduled anyway. That was already on the calendar, and so I followed up and I told my primary care physician about it, and she was like, Casey, of course you can be on your medication. At first she was like, why don't you want to take it? Are you scared of being addicted? Like, I can help you manage that. And I was like, no, I'm having the opposite problem. My brain won't let me take the medication. There's no way I can get addicted to it because my brain's like, hey, you can't ever feel good. You can't ever have relief. And so she was like, oh my God, take your fucking medicine. And I was like, that's what everybody keeps telling me. And now that I have kind of heard that from all sides, my therapist, my partner, my primary care physician, everybody's like, dude, we're giving you the medicine because it helps you. Take your medicine. It's finally getting hammered into my brain with all that external validation that, hey, this is okay to take. You're going to have access to it. You're good. And so that has been a huge help, just having access to that medication and being able to take it. It doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. It's like $3 for my prescription. It lasts me sometimes more than 2 months because I don't have, if I'm able to manage, here's the fun thing about anxiety, especially if you have a panic disorder like I do. If you're able to manage your anxiety, you have less panic attacks. Ergo, you can take your medication less frequently. Oh my God. I was so worried. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to take this like every single fucking week, maybe even multiple times a week. maybe multiple times a day because of all the panic attacks I'm having. Then I started taking it regularly, and like, oh, if I would feel panic coming on, it would calm me down. And then I would be able to break out of the cycle and work through it on my own from there, to where I would not work myself into a panic attack even throughout the week. Like, I'd be good. I could take my medicine maybe twice a week in high stress and high anxiety, and then I'd be good for the rest of the week, maybe even through the next week, maybe even through the week after that. It ebbs and flows. It all, environmental factors plus how I'm feeling on my own headspace all contribute to that. But in general, it's like, oh, if you manage this shit, you're not gonna be in a state of panic all the time, because it's the entire fucking point. It's novel what you aren't paying attention to when you're the patient, and what you can look at retroactively and how your medication is working. So I'm very, very thankful for that. That has helped, especially as new stressful situations come up. It's made navigating life a lot easier. I have panic attacks so much less frequently. In fact, I haven't had a panic attack in at least a month. That's great. I've had major anxiety. I felt like I was about to build up into a panic attack, but I got the medicine, so I don't have to endure the panic attack. If I know that's coming on, I can be like, oh, shit, where's my fucking XANAX? Take a pill. And it's like, panic attack be gone. It's great. It calms me down enough to level out and keep moving. So while everything right now is stressful, I have stepped back. I've gotten some bandwidth. I'm able to tackle all these things. I've got big, exciting things coming up, even though they're stressful. These are all things that I want to do, I want to take part in, I want to accomplish. And I've got the tools to help me get to the other side. If somebody can just toss me like, I don't know, $100,000 so I can pay off my house quicker and pay down debt, that'd be great. But realistically, everything's going to be just fine in terms of that. Finances are going to be okay. All the things I'm doing are exciting. I need to resume Luna's training. It's been so hot, but that's a problem for this weekend me. Just so many things going on, and I hope that you stay tuned for all the things that are to come. There's lots and lots of announcements. That song you heard at the beginning of the podcast, I think I just jumped right in. You're going to hear it at the end here and again in a second. It was a new song by my band Lost on the Mons. It's called Carousel. It's a fucking bop. I'm playing bass in the band again. I took some guitar lessons. I graduated from guitar school. Shout out Johnny Hale. He made me good at guitar again. And not only can I play guitar decently well, that has improved my bass playing skills like 100% fold. Not even like, I can't even say tenfold. It's like I'm doubly better at all of what I did. And it's amazing. Like playing 10 years of guitar and these little secrets I didn't know, like unlocked a world of just, you don't have to be mediocre, and all it takes are these things. Like you already have all your fundamentals. You just need to know these things, and nobody ever told you because you taught yourself. Just immaculate. Cool shit. So you'll see me on stage playing bass instead of running all of our auxiliary stuff. That's what I have been doing at our recent shows. I've been doing a lot of vocals. If you've seen TikToks and Instagram, Seth has played bass so that way I can run a rig. And that's a responsibility in and of itself. But what's great is if I'm back on bass and we've got our buddy Miguel playing guitar now and doing vocals, if all I'm doing is playing bass and all Seth is doing is singing, he gets to manage all the auxiliary stuff. I'm just the backup, which is great. So it all works out good. I'm super excited. Listen to the tag at the end of Carousel. Come to the Loft Show Black Friday. You're going to hear more about that later. We're booking bands. Yeah, just stay tuned for all the good stuff. I guess this is really, truly a rambling episode. So I hope you enjoyed my rambles, my updates, and how life is going. I hope, at least in the next episode, I hope to have a guest. If I don't have a guest in the next episode, I will at least have an actual topic to talk about, because I'll have some solid updates on what's going on and experiences to talk about that and share with you all and help you hopefully in your similar experiences. And if not, it'll just be an entertaining story. But but hopefully I'll have a guest on. That'll be cool. It'll probably just be one of my friends, but if you are one of my listeners and you know somebody that knows somebody that knows, there are a lot of podcast guests. Here, I'm going to give you, as a sign off, I'm going to give you my podcast guest wish list. A lot of these are people I know from TikTok, but, and some of you I know personally. So, Tony22 or Sage, want you on the podcast at some point. Love you guys. I hope you're doing well. Tony, good luck on your tour. I'll see you there. And I want Dan McClellan on the podcast. I've reached out already to two of my mentors. They don't actually know me. They're mentors very much from afar, but I would love to get Jason Louv and Damian Eccles. I don't think Damian's doing podcasts anymore, so that may be just a false or a hopeless dream. If you've got contact with, I think it's Howdy Y'all, Sydney. She's great. I like her mental health stuff. There's some other girl that I've watched recently. I'll have to remember her name, but she talks a lot about her eating disorder stuff. I would love to have a conversation with her about that. And if somebody can get me the $1 million man, that is Duncan Trussell. I don't know, I'm just rambling off my wish list now at this point. These are all wonderful people. I love their content. I think their mental health content or their just general dialogue with people are great. But realistically, I'm probably going to start small. I've had some friends that I want to get on the podcast for a while. I've even had friends ask me when they're going to come on the podcast. So, got some interesting things in the works to make that happen in a more professional way, maybe even introducing some video to it. But yeah, if you know anybody that I've listed, or you're a friend of mine and you would like to come talk about and share your experiences on the podcast, let me know. I'm more than happy to accommodate. And all of you, let me know. Send me an email. Go to echoesbox.com. There's a contact form there. There's also our email, so you can reach out to us with requests for all that kind of stuff. So yeah, check out echoesbox.com and stay on the lookout for my new music, and go jam Carousel by Lost in Le Mans. And I'll see you at the Black Friday show. Peace.
This crystal ball seems cloudy with a chance of fucking useless.